Welcome to this week's Next Branch. Mr. Charbonnet talked a lot about in the PD and 3 learning gains and working students incrementally toward proficiency. We're going to talk through some strategies and show you some ways on a day-to-day basis that you can accomplish that with your students. Let's dive in. So we'll start with a couple of strategies to get students to shift their mindset a little bit and to make growth their own goal. Our first strategy is the use of pre and post assessments. So think about the beginning of a learning cycle where you're really highly focused on one or two skills, giving students a pre-assessment that consists of maybe anywhere from 1 to 5 questions at most. Let students know where they are, let them see what they are at the beginning of the learning cycle. At the end of the learning cycle, give them those same 1 to 5 questions and let them see the growth that they've made. You can even do this in small groups if you're pulling students for 15 to 20 minutes at a time. Give them the really super focused pre-assessment at the beginning of the small group, do the instruction with them, and then at the end give them the same exact post-assessment and let them show and see within that 20-minute time frame how much growth they've made already. To build off of that, you can infuse the idea of student self-reporting of grades. This is one of the largest effect sizes according to John Hattie's meta-analysis on student performance and student achievement. And essentially what you do is ask students to predict how well they will perform on an assessment. Once they've given you that prediction, you can then, as the instructor, encourage them to achieve even higher and talk through some of the ways that they could even outperform their initial assessments. A final layer to think about and implement in our instructional practice in supporting students adopting the idea of growth and the importance of growth is how we convey assessment results to students. So think about a 10-question assessment, right? If a student gets 2 questions correct, typically we may have written -8 on the top of their paper. Instead, if we adopt the strengths-based approach like Rita Pearson talked about quite a bit, we would write +2 on the top of their paper. Then after some remediation and reteaching, students may take that assessment again and this time get a +6. Ultimately, that's not exactly where we want them to end up, but it does start to convey that idea to them about growth, and they can start to feel good about the learning that has been made. This is what's going to help us, as Mr. Charbonnet talked about in the PD and 3, eventually get students to our goal for them, and that is proficiency across those standards. For more information on some of these strategies, we encourage you to check out visiblelearning.org. This has been your Next Branch.